All right, in today's video, I'm going to explain how to winterize the plumbing around your house in right around 4 minutes. Let's get started. So when it comes to winterizing the plumbing around your house, a couple things you need to do first. You need to understand what exactly needs to be winterized. Typically, it's outdoor faucets or hose bibs, outdoor showers, and things like that. You need to know if you have shutoff valves for those individual items, and also what kind of hose bibs or spigots or outdoor showers you have so you know exactly how to winterize them. All right, so we'll talk about the easy part first. If you do have individual shutoffs for your house, all you need to do is go and turn those valves off and open up whatever it's feeding and let the water drain out of it. I like to leave the hose bib or outside shower on just in case there's any residual water that wants to kind of come out, and it lets it flow on out instead of staying in the pipe or the line or the hose bib and freezing. If you do it that way, when it's time to go and turn the valve back on and turn the water back on to all your exterior faucets, make sure the outdoor faucets are still open as you turn that valve on and turn it on slowly. When it's up to full pressure, go around and turn each individual spigot off slowly and listen to make sure that nothing did freeze or burst, and listen to it for just a second and make sure everything is good. All right, like I said, another important thing to know about when you're winterizing your house is to know which kind of outside faucet that you do have. I want to thank the guys over at Baymace Hardware here near me. They let me just come in and grab a bunch of stuff to make this video, so if you're around this area, go check those guys out. They're great. So let's take a look at this. There's a couple of different kind of faucets here. These two here are what we call frost-free hose bibs. So what that is, it has a long rod that goes through here, and actually the water, when it shuts off, there's a washer that goes against this, and the water cutoff is right here. So in a sense, when you turn this faucet off, the water that's in this pipe is going to run out the front, and the water is going to be shut off here on the interior part of the house, and it shouldn't freeze. So that's what these are both called frost-free hose bibs. So if you have hose bibs that are like that, and you don't have an individual shutoff valve for it, you're probably going to be okay as long as this goes back far enough into the interior part of the house where the walls are heated. So a lot of hose bibs you might have in your house too look like this or this on the front, but they don't have the frost-free pipe on the back of it. They just have a connection right here that goes to whatever kind of water line you have. So it's kind of good to know whether you have these or not. Because if you don't have these, but it looks like this, the best thing for you to do if you don't have an individual shutoff valve is get one of these handy insulated covers that go over your outside spigots. Another thing to talk about is if your hose bibs have an anti-siphon or vacuum relief or a vacuum breaker on it. So if it looks like this mechanism right here, here, and even here is a vacuum relief, or like I said, a vacuum breaker, which is right here. What that does, it keeps water from sucking back into the water system if there's any kind of negative pressure on the street or house side of the system. So it protects the water system in that way. But what that does is if it does have one of these, it does make the water harder to drain out. So that's another reason I recommend to, when you're shut off your individual valve, to leave these open and let water trickle out as much as it can over time. As far as outside showers go, a lot of what we see around my area are these kind of showers right here. So if you do have individual shutoff valves, come out, open up these two handles like you're turning it on, leave it open, and you can also take this plug out of the bottom right here and make sure you get all the water out so it doesn't freeze. If you're in a situation where you don't know what kind of hose bibs you have, or you don't know if you have individual shutoff valves or don't have them, I recommend calling a plumber, having them come out and assess the situation. At a minimum, get your hose bib covers on, the insulated ones, or you can also let the faucet drip in freezing conditions. So when water freezes, it expands, which is why it has a tendency to bust pipes. Copper, which is the most rigid pipe of all, is more likely to bust when it's frozen. CPVC, which has a little bit of flexibility to it, still has a tendency to bust because it has a tendency to get brittle over time. PEX, which is the most flexible pipe that we use, especially PEX A, is a lot less likely to bust when it freezes. One last thing is make sure and never leave a garden hose connected to an outside spigot when there's potential that it's freezing outside. All right, as always, thanks for watching the video. Get out there and do something nice for somebody. We'll see you in the next one.